I drank, woke up in the morning, I'm hungover. So the cue was being hungover. The reward was I get to smoke a blunt.
Oh, what he gonna say now?
I'm gonna give you 2 tactics right now. That's 4, but just stay tuned with me, okay? Check in. Listen, if you are in a place right now where you're consciously competent, aka you know right from wrong, you know what to do, what not to do, you're confident of these things, you know, but you find that you're still stuck. Why aren't you able to move from that phase to just actually doing what you know, to just getting it done? I'm going to tell you why right here. It's the cue, it's the reward, and it's the routine.
Do, re, mi, so. Do, re, so, mi, fa, la, la. Do, re, mi, so. Do, re, mi, so. Subscribe.
The cue is when your friend calls up on the phone. Hey Cindy, what's going on? Like, how you doing? And before that call comes in, you already know what Cindy's gonna say. Cindy wants to go for froyo. She wants to follow it up, and she wants to spy on boys on Instagram. And that's the cue. The reward is the satisfaction from the froyo, from the frozen yogurt. Oh man, that sugar is really dialed in right now. I got my blood pressure high, got my energy up, and the reward is there, right? I feel good. I feel like, oh, why would we not want to do this every Friday? And then that becomes the routine. Every time Cindy calls, the reward is now what you receive after the call, the satisfaction of the frozen yogurt with the extra gummies on top and the fudge. Ooh. And then the routine is every time you see Cindy's name, you know. Every Friday, when she calls on Friday, you know. You're going to repeat that cycle. So because you're consciously competent, you know all that's going to come. Now, how do you break that? Well, step 1 is to become aware of the sequence in your life. I'll give you an example for me. When I used to drink alcohol, I would always follow up and I would smoke a blunt the next morning. Why? Part of the hangover is psychologically made me feel better. So what did I need to do? I needed to break the routine because the cue was, I drank, woke up in the morning, I'm hungover. So the cue was being hungover. The reward was I get to smoke a blunt. Then the routine was every time I drank, every time I had a hangover, I was always going to smoke a blunt. What did I need to do? Okay, now I told you number 1, the cue, the reward, the routine. Now, here's the second tool. You need to pair this together, and it's going to help you start to identify, which is actually the first letter. It's Irma, Hurricane Irma. I is for identify. The R is for rewire. The M is for master. And the A is for adopt or to ascend, depending on if I'm talking to my spiritual people, because I'm right there with you, right? So when you have a problem, you realize one of these sequences, the cue, the reward, the routine, you now have, it's only a 2-part system, to identify what the routine is, identify the pattern. Bing! Okay, think of a real pattern you have in your life right now. Okay, cool, check. Now you need to you need to rewire that pattern. So if I go back to the froyo example, when Cindy now calls, I now tell Cindy, actually, I don't really want to go for froyo this time. Can we go work on our business plan? Can we go to the library and check out this new book? Can we go to the movie theaters? I want to see The Lion King. Anything to break the pattern from going to get froyo. Just don't go get the froyo. You have to break the pattern. And that's the R. I, identify the problem. R, rewire the sequence. The M comes in where you now master that new sequence. So now you have a brand new routine. Cue, reward, routine. Now you have a new routine. When you really enact a new routine a couple times, really I think you only need 1 because 99% of this psychology allows you to follow through with that 1% of the mechanic. I'm just not going to get froyo because my mind is finally back in control. I'm not just consciously competent, I'm subconsciously competent. It's automatic. Now you just need to go ahead and adopt it because, yeah, cool, you went ahead, you mastered it, and to adopt that, you need to now know that, look, this is not something that I'm going to go back on. This is a new habit that I adopted. Or, for my other people, my spiritual beings, the one of me's, the one that's resonated with this message, to just ascend. Because when you ascend from this level to this level, nobody wants to be the fallen angel, right? Cue, reward, routine. Learn how to identify the pattern. Learn how to rewire that pattern, switch the sequence, throw in a wrench in that Ferris wheel that keeps going round and round. Master the new sequence. Okay, I changed the froyo. Now, for working on my business plan, for working on my podcast, for going to see the Lion King this time, I'm changing the sequence. And then go ahead and adopt or ascend. Where did I get Irma from? There was a Hurricane Irma that ran through the United States. It messed up Houston, Texas, and a couple other Caribbean islands. I believe Puerto Rico, don't quote me. And it was just a monster. Winds were above 220 miles per hour, wrecking homes, destroying lives. Just like your personal cues that you have in your life, just like the routines you have in your life, and just like the rewards that you have backing some of these habits that you don't want to continue. You have things just coming through, just swooping up and wrecking your life. It doesn't need to be that way anymore when you learn to take that negative and turn it into a positive. Hurricane Irma, which was 220 miles plus of destructive winds and just violence, the negative, and turn it to a positive, something where now I'm able to identify the problem, rewire the problem, rewire the sequence, change the pattern, master that new pattern, and just ascend, just adopt this new rewiring on a subconscious level to now be subconsciously competent versus just consciously competent, where I continue to fall into the same pitfalls, the same traps of what I know better than to do. Because this is what we don't ever really give some time and credit to. You can fall below. It's not just I'm going to stay conscious and competent and I'm going to eventually just either get to subconscious competence or I'm just going to stay here. No, you can fall below. You can become consciously incompetent. So I hope that resonates with you. I know it does. This is PernellBobby here, checking in with you. If this resonated with you, please go ahead, press the like, press the subscribe. I want to send more content to you. Not only what do I want to, but I will. This is an informed consent to go ahead and be your best self, to go ahead and rewire some of these behaviors that you just don't want in your life anymore. Step up and pull the trigger, baby.